Hello and welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah, and today I wanted to talk about all the books that I have read in July. It's been a minute, but I did mention in my previous video that I want to take a little step back from YouTube and maybe just relax and chill and do my crochet and just not stress about recording and editing and all that. And also, it was very busy few weeks, I'd say. We went to the Lake District, and I'm actually editing a video from the Lake District for you guys as well, so you can see how beautiful Lake District in the UK is. And I went to Brussels to meet my son for just for one day, and I also took my youngest son to his very first ever concert. We went to see Kendrick Lamar and SZA and in one of the stadiums here in London. So I am feeling a little bit drained, but I wanted to kind of share with you the books that I have read in recent weeks, read/listened to, because my Taylor Jenkins vlog is going to take a while, so I thought it would be a nice video to put in between. And also these are the books that I have read, so why not tell you what I have been reading. And actually all these books come off my bookshelf, so I'm so happy I'm actually working on reducing my physical TBR. So I'm reading, I'm unhauling or keeping, and it makes me feel so good that the numbers are dropping down. So anyway, the first book I have read in July, listened to actually, was a book that I wanted to listen for a very, very long time. And that was Josh Malerman, The Incidents Around the House. And for me, it had everything that I like in horror books. It had an entity, it had a little child involved, and the kind of vibe of a haunted house. So I actually went really excited for this book. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. So I'm not going to go into details, but we follow a little Bella. Bella, I think, is 8 or 9 or something like this. And Bella made an imaginary friend. There is a mummy that lives in her closet and comes out and speaks to her. So the whole book is narrated from the point of view of this little girl. And there were moments where we also find out the story of her parents, but it's through this very weird thing that the author has done. And I actually didn't like this. So what happens is these parents, mom and dad, they are going through some difficulties in the marriage, and they kind of vent to Bella while they think she's sleeping. She's not sleeping, she's pretending, so she listens to everything, and this way she can relate this situation to the reader. And even though it kind of made sense for this to happen because the book was told from the point of view of Bella, I found these scenes boring and I was very not interested. And I feel like this couple, they made so many stupid decisions and so many stupid choices once they believed Bella that they might have a little bit of a problem in the house. They were trying to solve things their way. Unfortunately, all the steps that they were taking, all the decisions that they made were not very clever. I feel like these people have never read any horror books and have never watched any horror movies. So yeah, I found it a little bit unbelievable, let's just say. I feel like my best character in this book was Other Mummy. Other Mummy was the entity that comes out from the closet and speaks to Bella. And the way she was described, I could really, really imagine her. And to me, I imagine her as one of those creepy characters from PTSD Radio that I've read in the beginning of this year, a few months ago or something. It was basically a graphic novel. So the illustrations in that graphic novel, this is how I imagined Other Mummy. And there were creepy moments in this book, but I feel generally when the parents started getting a bit more involved, this book took a turn for the worse, for me at least, and I stopped enjoying it as much. I feel generally this book was quite predictable. And if you've read any of this sort of books, you will kind of you've already cracked the code, so you know what's coming. So this is what I'm saying. It was a little bit predictable. I think a better book, if you like books of this type with children and imaginary friends and stuff like that, there was a better one that I've read last year, and that was Black Mamba by William Friend. I enjoyed that one as well, and it was creepy, and it was children involved, and a little alcoholic daddy as well. So all the good stuff. I rated this book 30 stars, and I'm glad I didn't purchase my own copy, because I think if I had this as a physical book, it would be an unhaul. Would I recommend this book? Maybe. I think a person that haven't read much horror, they would enjoy it, because Adamami is creepy. But someone that's read a lot of horror and kind of knows the gist, they will rate this book really low. The next book that I have read or listened to in July was Agent McKinty, The Island. And I have read The Chain by Agent McKinty a couple of years ago. I think I bought this book after I've read The Chain, because I just got so excited, because I think I enjoyed The Chain a lot, or the past me have enjoyed The Chain. This one, cut the long story short, there is this doctor, I think he's an orthopedic surgeon, and he takes his new wife, much younger than himself, and his two teenage children to Australia, because he's attending this conference, orthopedic conference or something like this. And the kids get bored and they want to see the animals, the koalas, the kangaroos and whatnot, and he takes them, the whole family, on this kind of like a day trip. Unfortunately, they didn't see anything interesting, and at one point they come across these couple of guys that they say they have a koala in the box in the truck. So they show the kids the koalas and they say, oh, there's plenty more where we come from. No. And turns out they live on this private island. You can only access it by this private ferry that they run, and the guy, the dad, he wants to be the good dad, good person. He decides to pay these guys and take their family to the private island. And there's another couple of people that go with them. I think they're from Holland or somewhere like something like that. And so they go over to this private island, and unfortunately for them, there's an accident that happens there. And from that moment, everything starts to go bad. This book, to me, it seemed like every single thriller movie I have watched set in Australia. Literally. It's dry. There's some strange people around. Someone drives in a car, the car breaks down, and there's these hillbillies, let's call them, that they kind of have their own laws and stuff like that. The characters in this book, let me tell you, not one of them was likable. I literally couldn't care less about any of these people. They were all horrible. The dad, the kids were horrible. The girl, Heather, the female main character, the new wife of that doctor, she was some very young woman that used to work as a masseuse, and her parents, I think, were ex-army or something like this. So she kind of mentioned that she picked up some things from her dad and whatever. But then she kind of goes from this naive masseuse young woman that listens to like pop and stuff like that, and the kids are making fun of her, to someone that suddenly becomes this best sniper ever, and she knows all the survival things, and I don't know. That's fine, because you know, if her parents were ex-army, she might have picked up certain things from them. But she herself never been in the army. She hasn't done anything like that. And not once she cracked under pressure. I think as a normal person, if we are put in an extreme situation when we have to do things to survive, we will find the strength to do these things to survive. But there will be moments when we will doubt ourselves, and we will have this pressure, and I don't know, just feeling a little bit weaker maybe. She not once cracked, and to me that was super unbelievable. And like I said, I didn't like any of these people. To me, they could all die and I couldn't care less. So no, thank you very much. I want to like my characters. I want to, at least one of them I want to like, because I want to have someone that I will root for, and I want to have someone that I would want for them to survive. Here, even not even the kids. I literally couldn't care less about the kids, honestly. The only reason that I didn't DNF this book, and I wanted to at some point because I was just sitting there rolling my eyes, is because this book was so fast paced and the time was clicking over very, very fast. So yeah, I rated this book 2 stars. Would I recommend it? No. There are better books than this. This felt very samey to me. However, I am very happy that I've read this book, because that was my TBR veteran. That was the book that I bought in May 2022. And that was the oldest book that I had on my shelf. So at least another one of them is ticked off and I can move on to something else. So that's a good result. And then the next book that I've listened to was I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. And I picked this book last year after I've read Fall by Ian Reid, and I absolutely loved Fall. And this is a short book, as you can see. And in here we follow Jake and his girlfriend, whose name we don't know, and they go on this road trip, or not road trip, they're in a car and they're traveling to visit Jake's parents. The girlfriend will be meeting the parents for the first time. They're going for a dinner. It's the middle of the winter, whatever. They go in a car, they talk, and in her head, she's thinking about ending things. So we kind of think that maybe she wants to break up with him. This is what the author wants us to believe, I think. Anyway, let me just tell you, this book was so weird. It was slow. It was very weird. At one point, I also felt like DNFing this book. But then there was a scene described, not it wasn't described, it was told by Jake about something that happened on the farm, and it got my stomach turning, and I was like, oh damn, it might be good, because I like stomach turning scenes. So I'm weird like this, okay? So it kept me intrigued and it kept me going, and I was listening, and the more I listened, the more intrigued and involved in the story I became, and the more I liked it. And I kind of went from wanting to DNF this book to actually rating this book 5 stars. Yes, that's actually what happened. This book is super weird. I don't think this is a book for everyone. This book, even I don't understand everything in this book. I think this book is about mental illness in a way. I kind of had the vibes of maybe schizophrenia. I have no idea. Honestly, I would have to read. Maybe someone wrote an essay or a study, or someone maybe made a very intelligent blog post about this book. To be honest, I don't know if I care that much. All I care about in books is a good time when I'm reading this book. And this book definitely gave me a very, very good time. It was this sort of a psychological horror that you actually don't know what's true and what is not. I feel like the lines between the dream and reality were very, very blurred here, and I love that kind of stuff. It's like, oof, it was so good. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I don't know if everyone would enjoy this book, because this book is pretty weird and it's confusing and it's very hard to understand. I liked it. I rated it 5 stars. Like I say, recommended with caution. And that brings me to the last book that I have just finished today, and this is Pine by Francine Toon. And this is a mystery, a gothic mystery. It feels like a gothic mystery. This is set in Scottish Highlands, and it starts in October, and we follow Neil, who is a very troubled alcoholic father to a 10-year-old Oren. Oren's mom and Neil's wife, she disappeared when Oren was just a baby. Oren was the wife, I can't remember his name, Christine maybe. She was a very spiritual woman. She was a healer. She was very spiritual. She read tarot cards. She had like crystals and different things around the house, candles, and she was kind of like this witchy person. And Oren, it seems like she inherited a little bit of that gift from her mom as well. So this whole story starts during Halloween, and Neil and Oren are in a car, and they're coming back from trick-or-treating, and they see this woman on the side of the road. She's very pale. She's just wearing a dressing gown, and they kind of pick her up. And once they pick her up, they take her home. And from that moment, very strange things start to happen in the house and also around the village. People are seeing this same woman, but a lot of them will have no memory of seeing this woman. There's only Oren and another person, the spiritual people, that see and remember seeing that woman. So there's this whole thing, spiritual / paranormal element to this story. And I think this is why this book was tagged as horror on Goodreads. To me, it's more of a mystery, because not only we are kind of in the background trying to find out what happened to Oren's mom, but also there's another thing that happens in the book that has that element of mystery. And it was very, very slow. Honestly, it was one of those books that I honestly felt like I'm going to DNF. At 70%, I was like, that's it, I'm done. It was just so slow for me, so slow. It was like dragging my feet through the mud. But then something happened, like this event happened that kind of turned the plot a little bit and got the things moving in the book, but it was quite late in the story. And I feel like if it was a little bit earlier maybe, and if the pacing was a little bit faster, I think I would enjoyed this book a bit more than I did. This will be a perfect book for someone that likes very heavy, oppressive atmosphere, very atmospheric atmosphere. This is how this book felt. Like, it was cold, it was dark, it was atmospheric. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, I felt like it was raining all the time, and water was dripping from places all the time. That kind of stuff. It's that kind of vibe, okay? So if you like that kind of slow moving story, I think you will enjoy this book as well. I rated it 2 stars. So for me, this unfortunately will be an unhaul. But like I said, I am happy because that's another book off my physical TBR. And that's it. That's the 4 books that I have listened to while I'm reading Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm hoping I'm in focus because I haven't got my glasses on and I actually can't see if I'm in focus or not. But today I picked up Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I think that's how you pronounce it. And so far, what I know about this book is we follow 2 people, Sadie and Sam, and they met as children when Sadie's sister was being treated in a hospital, and Sam was also treated in a hospital, and Sadie met Sam in a gaming room, and they become friends. Unfortunately, they parted ways for I think 8 or 10 years, and they by accident meet again after many years, and I think they start working on a game together. Sadie is a computer programmist, and she programs games basically, and she gives Sam a game that she created, and he gets very intrigued. He loves the game. I think he wants to work with Sadie on expanding this game and making it even better than it is. So this is where I am in a story. not much to say about it as of now. Chapters are quite long, and within the chapters we kind of go back to the past, and we find out what happened like in the childhood, and just the personal stuff that was going on with them. So anyway, I'm gonna stick to it. Hopefully it will be better than the other books that I have read this month. That's, like I said, that's another book of my TBR. So I'm really concentrating on just reading books that are on my physical bookshelves, because I want to reduce the amount of unread books that I have, and it's going well. I'm pretty happy with that progress. Taylor Jenkins Reid is here. I'm currently reading book number 5. I think there's one. I actually had a different edition of another book here, but I want to replace it, so I've ordered a different copy to match these editions on Vinted. So I'm waiting for this. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 books read. 5th one I'm currently reading, and then I would have 4 more books to read, including Atmosphere. The other 3 I have already read as well, but it would be nice to refresh myself. I think the only one I won't read is Carrie Soto is Back, because I've literally read it like last month and I remember it very, very well. But I'm enjoying my time with Taylor Jenkins Reid. But yeah, that's it. I will tell you more about how I'm getting on in my Taylor Jenkins Reid reading. Taylor Jenkins Reid reading vlog. These words sounds the same. They are not spelled the same. Anyway, there will be a whole vlog about TJR coming up, and also my Lake District vlog that will be coming up. So subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on these 2 exciting videos. For now, I appreciate if you give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.